Welcome to the fifth segmented or spliced speed run that I just made of speedrun 4. So essentially, how this run is going to work is that first of all, a splice speed run is essentially when you're taking clips from one speed run and then clips from another speed run and you put them together in editing software. That is a spliced run. Most leaderboards do not allow spliced runs. They only allow real time attempts, which is a one speed run of the game. You play the game once, you go through the entire thing as fast as you can. This is not that. This is not a real time attempt. This is a spliced run where I'm taking clips from several different runs and putting them together. And so the way this is going to work, the previous segment, which I is like a word I use for like a 45-day block. So on my channel, you'll see a ton of speed runs from each day that I've speed ran. And so this is going to be take runs from day 181 to day 100. Day 181 to day 225. And so the first level is going to come from day 181. The second level is going to come from day 182. The third level from 183. Yada 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 until the final level 45 from day 225, which was just posted. And so yeah. The timer on your left is going to be the timer that was in that specific speed run, and then the timer on the right is going to be our splice timer. So let's get it started now. So yeah, this is the easiest level of the game, of course. Not much to say about it. Yeah, it's the first level. Real riveting shit here, guys. Wow. I know. We go on. And yeah. So, anyways, the PB on our segment, so I guess the best time. Actually, I don't think it is the best time. This is just when I started recording it, but it is a 2051. It appears to be that way. Somehow, this speed run's actually about like almost a second in front of our segmented timer. Strange. Yeah, somehow these runs are actually faster than our edited in timer, which usually doesn't happen this early, but maybe I fucked up the timing. I don't know. Either way, we still go on. And now we're on level 4. Once again, this must have been a really good run. Yeah, 106. Usually I don't ever get that high. This might have even been a PB. I forget when I PB'd during this segment, but I know I did. On my birthday, I PB'd. That was one of them. But we're still just trucking along. I consider the first like 23 levels or so, more like 26 levels, to be like really, really simple. So I don't have anything to say about them. Our timer is now actually a bit earlier than this one. So we must have had, yeah, we had a 2-second delay. And I believe this actually was one of our PB runs. I think I did have one on 185. I'm not sure though. It's possible. That way we are a few seconds behind still. So see, now we're in another run because now the timer on the left is faster than the one on the right, which means this run was faster than our current segmented timer. Okay, this yeah, this was my birthday run when I turned 17. So this was actually a PB, believe it or not. But it was like barely a PB, by like hardly a second or so. This was like a PB, I think. See, this is one of the longest levels in the entire game. It's pretty annoying sometimes, but it's pretty simple. It's mostly straightforward platforms, all rectangles. Oh, tilted rectangles. How scary. But yeah, that's that level done. Our segmented timer, we're almost a whole second behind. That's pretty good. Multiple PB segments, too. Here we are now, level 9. So, again, it's just the fucking level. And we're still very close to the timers here. I noticed that if you look at my other segments, I think the timers were a lot more sporadically. My other segmented run. I really need to think of better vocabulary words. This is getting very confusing very quickly. But if you look at my other segmented runs, I think you'll see the timers are a lot more further apart. It shows that the increase in the rate of the rate of change in my skill level is slowing down because there's hardly much difference. This one's about an entire second ahead of the timer. Now we're at 12. A full second behind on the segmented timer. That's good to see from the previous segmented run, whenever I made that. We could even get an undeath segment, which means we don't die at all in any of the levels, but I have no clue yet. Because I just stitched these together. The only things I saw were the start of each level and the end of each level. So I haven't seen if I die anywhere yet. So the contents are just as hidden to me as they are to you. Despite being earlier on the segmented, though, on the right timer, if you look, we're like almost 1.5 seconds ahead. We're still behind the actual RTA runs, which is pretty crazy. About a whole second. Here comes one of the fastest, if not the fastest level in the game, right up here, level 14. This is where the first skip comes in. Right here. Boop. Yep, just you jump from the start to the very end of the level. Simple shit. Oh, look at this. The timers are almost in sync right here. Yeah, so that's what differentiates the newer, I think, no major skips category from the sort of older no skips category. And so, yeah, no major skips is basically like no skips, except there's a few levels in which some of the decorative platforms actually can be used as ways to bypass parts of a level. So that's considered to be a skip of a level. That not to be confused with the skip level button, which is a game pass and not an actual item, which is very confusing. And that's why our category is called no major skips, not just no skips, because a major skip would be purchasing that levels button. Or, somehow we're an entire 21 seconds behind now, which means on the previous segment we must have died in that level. So, good job. We didn't die there in this segment, in this segmented run. Uh-oh. Oh, we screwed up that shortcut, but we got through it in this one. Let's see if that takes any time away. I'm not even sure if I was using this. Yeah, no, not back then. I guess I was, yeah. We lose a few seconds, that's fine though. We didn't die, that's good. So yeah, the timer is now a starch 10 seconds ahead of this run. Which makes sense. I did fall into much of a slump after my previous PB. I've gotten a bit close to it a few times, but never as close as 1850. We'll see. I might even get a. I mean, if this is a deathless run, it's a deathless segmented run, then it is possible that it could be faster than my PB, which would be chronically insane, and it would probably piss me off. But I doubt that'll happen. It basically all depends on when I died, because like if I died on level 17, I could have died in level 17 on like 44 of the 45 days. And if it wasn't on the 17th day of this segment, then it's not going to be recorded in the segmented run. So we continue on. Again, these are the easier levels. So, there's not much to say about them. There's a few small mistakes you shouldn't make. We're almost back to the 20-second ahead marker, which is really good. The segmented timer is still only a little bit ahead of this timer, though, or this run's timer. Oh my god, you can even see in the speed run we were 7 seconds behind. God damn. See, like the rarity of that number happening to appear in that specific speed run on that specific day, and that day being in this segmented speed run is crazy. Oh, I actually went for that shortcut in this one. Oh, and I actually almost did it too. So yeah, if you can hit that jump and then hit that jump again, you can actually bypass most of this level. It's kind of like 14s in that way. But I did not hit it here. I have not actually hit it in any run before. I have hit it though in spurts. I have, when I've been practicing this level individually, I have hit that shortcut before. So who knows? Maybe that will be successful in the next segmented run. We'll see if this run can remain ahead. It'll be very slim though, as even early level deaths do take a lot of time to recover from. But we only lose 15 seconds, which means we've still got a nice 6-second lead. But yeah, that's another instance where that's a skip, considered to be a skip. 17 was also considered to be a skip. I think there's one more I missed there, but here's another one where you have a skip right here. Oop. Well, okay, I that screwed up the timer, but that's fine. So right here, bounce from crystal to crystal, and yep, you just get over here. That skips this level. And actually, that might have even been faster than level 14s. And clearly, we must have had a lot of trouble with that in the previous segmented run, because we just jumped to a 40-second lead, which is pretty crazy. This run, we're leading by about 10 seconds. That's pretty nice. So here's the final of what I consider to be the easiest levels of the game. Yeah, we're like almost a whole minute ahead of this run. We were doing terrible in this speed run. And Golden Overdrive. Now we're at level 27. There is another skip here. I'm not sure if I tried it. Looks like I did not. And so the skip involves you using essentially those candy cane archways. You'll see them in a minute. And so you can bounce from part of the stage onto one of those archways, and you can get to that center island over there. You'll see it right now. That big center hump right here, the one right here, you can jump on that, go around, jump on this arch, which you see right here. We're just passing, and you can jump back on the course. That takes you from about like the middle start to the very end. It's a very, I wouldn't say too difficult, but it is tedious because it's just annoying that it doesn't work sometimes. But you can cut off a lot of time on that level too. I consider 27 this level and the next level to be the three hardest in the game, all back to back to back. But it's not too bad. We're a full 40 seconds ahead in the segmented run now of our previous segment. We're looking pretty good so far. If we just don't sell, and if we just don't do the sell of cells, we should be fine. I should probably re-clarify right about here. So you might be wondering how this is so long right now. Well, if you're a new viewer and you haven't paid attention to this speedrun for a while, you'll notice here that yeah, there's a new level in the game. In fact, there's 15 of them, which is kind of cool, but also kind of annoying. But it's really cool because they added a whole nother set. You see all these decorative platforms over here? Yeah, those are going to come in huge play in some later levels. Now, the dev did add a nerf to these levels. Let me rephrase this. So the developer of the game Verse, he added a nerf to the usefulness of many of those decorative platforms by adding in invis walls to the game. And so if you go into the game and you play these newer stages, you might try to jump from the course to a decorative platform, but you'll realize fairly quickly that a lot of them have invis walls. But that doesn't stop crazy trickster glitchers from figuring these walls the fuck out and going around them. Right now, the walls do work very well, but they will be abused in a few levels here. In terms of the timer, we're actually doing amazing on the segment timer. If you look at our previous segment, we've had like a shit ton of PB overalls, which means the skill level, at least in these individual runs, is way higher than what it was in the previous. After the previous 45 days, my skills increased a lot. Oh, I forgot to hit the button, but And this is when I started using layouts on the left side timer. You can see I have an image. I figured out how to do that after more than 200 days. Is that kind of dumb? Yeah, I probably should have figured that out earlier, but at least I can do it. And I hit it too early that time, so I guess it bounces out. But yeah, so we're about 40 seconds behind the fourth segmented run, which is pretty good. And then in terms of this individual run, we're pretty even, which is cool. Sorry about that. That's my phone. I just want to wait here. Oh, that's terrible. That might be the 40-second lead already waste. But I keep sounding like a fucking Redditor mod. The 40-second level already erased. That's what happens when you don't fucking hydrate. You start to sound like a fucking idiot. But next level coming up right here, we're gonna have a skip. Let's see. The lead does stay intact, but only about 12 seconds of it. Still trucking on. Here's another skip. So you can use this part. This is the decoration. And this is, you go around that invisible just because he didn't make it thick enough. That's the only reason this trick works. So you just run on that archway, and that's the portal. Boom. Skip done. Go on here. This is the only gap level. This is like, if this level had a skip, it would be 4 in a row that had skips. I'm not kidding. The next 2 levels have skips as well. In fact, it might even be the next 3 levels, actually. Yeah, that is the next 3 levels. It would be 5 in a row if it weren't for this level. Wow. Here's the first level of the skip. Actually, quadruple it. Yeah, there's 4 skip levels in a row here. You start here. That was obviously, all this is decoration. This is how you get around the invis wall. And yeah, now you're at the end of the level. Oh, yeah, I almost fucked up there. And here you are here. This level is the second skip level in the 4. Actually, technically, there's 5 in a row right here. I'm not kidding. Here's number 2. You just use this dragon. For some reason, it doesn't kill you. I don't know, but you get around the invis wall. Actually, you see, there was no invis wall at all. I don't think he even brought the invis wall high enough to intersect the dragon, which is kind of funny. Here's another one. This one also has a skip. We'll see if I try it or not. I do not. Okay, so if you jump from that platform, when I said I did not on that platform, you can jump from that platform to a scooper in the middle of the stage, and that scooper happens to be outside of the wall's bounds, and so you can actually jump from that scooper back onto the course. That saves a little bit of time. Not a ton of it, but it still is a skip. Another skip might be used here, might be attempted here, I'm not sure. As you can see, you can jump from that tree to this tree, and then this tree to here, and flick. I did not make it, but if you do flick, you can skip this entire spiral part. If you make the flick, it's useful for about 5 seconds. If you don't, then it's about actually the same speed that you beat the level in about the same exact amount of time that you would without using the skip. This level also has a very intricate and very difficult, in my opinion, or out of my skill range skip, as well as a very in my skill range skip. I do not believe I use either one here, but it is very easy to do that skip. You can jump to the cake in the center of the level, basically, and that cake, half of it is on one side of the invis wall, the other half's on the other side. And would you believe it or not, this level coming up here also has a skip. And unfortunately, it is also one that I cannot do and probably will not be doing in a speed run. But basically, right behind spawn to the right, there's a bunch of shutters there. And with the broken, wonky physics of the game, you can basically carry yourself up those shutters and use that briefcase floating right there to basically jump to the end of the level. And I think that takes only about maybe 5 to 10 seconds. I'm not sure. And I usually got our leads right back up there in the 40s, which is pretty crazy. This level is 7 in a row. I cannot believe it. Another skip in this level. Wow, 7 levels in a row. I never thought to stop to think about that. 7 in a row. That's almost half. And as I just said, 7 in a row. Guess what? 8 in a fucking row. Boom. Skip. That is over half of the new levels that have been cracked already. because of these crazy bullshit skip tactics that the creator did not account for. And so this is where our skip shenanigans come to an end. We're now at the end of the game once again. We do not pass our RTA personal best, but we will actually kind of get close to it. Jesus, we're like 2 minutes behind at this point. That's crazy. On our segmented time, you'll see we're 2 minutes behind the previous segment, which is insane. We're quickly losing time though. Yeah, perhaps I just missed time earlier. Yeah, I think I misclicked it earlier on the previous segment. I'm not sure. But yeah, we're actually only about 20 seconds ahead now of this RTA attempt, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, can we make it before 1940? Let's see. Can we do it? Looks like we will. Boom. That is our final time for the segmented run, a nice even 1938. And yeah, that's pretty cool. And so yeah, if I look real quick, use my mouse over this. So yeah, we got mostly a shit ton of PBs, which is really good because I think that shows a skill increase, like dramatically. Because being able to do all these levels way better than I previously did just 45 days ago is pretty good, really good. And so yeah, hopefully we just continue on this staunch improvement. We have a new segment, Splice Run PB at 1938, and yeah, all right. The next RTA run day 226 should be releasing in about 2 hours from now. So yeah. Alrighty, I'll see y'all, I guess, in 2 hours.